Dramatic entrance incoming. Hello everybody, my name is Ogcraft and welcome to another video on the channel. So, I'm going to be doing something a bit different today. As you can tell, I'm not in the normal tutorial world. But we are still going to continue that, so don't worry about that. So, if you guys aren't watching the actual main series, which you guys should too, I mean, you don't really need to understand what's going on here, but, well, if you want to, you should. So anyway, on our world, we finally have gotten ourselves the enchantment table, which you will need 15 bookshelves to surround it. I'm correcting myself from that. In the last episode, I said 16, but it's 15. I will put a link to the Minecraft wiki in the description, because that's where I get all my information. So anyway, we have gotten the enchantment table on our world, and I'd like to have a general overview of what enchantments I like to have on my gear. I will talk about the enchantments in greater detail in that episode when we start doing some enchanting. However, we are not doing that today. We're just going to go over what enchantments I like to have on my gear. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to get started with the helmet. So what I like to have on the helmet is Protection 4, Respiration 3, Aquafinity, Unbreaking 3, and Mending. Now you will notice that I don't have thorns on any of my equipment, and that is for two reasons. One, it gets super expensive to repair. If your helmet does take a lot of durability, it will be even more expensive to repair, which is one reason. The second reason is because it's a pretty dumb enchantment. So let's say like you're fighting a zombie or something. Like they have to hit you in order for them to take damage, and you don't exactly want them to hit you. So just something to take into consideration. Also, I do like to have just general protection on my equipment rather than projectile or blast protection, just because regular protection is just more common than the other two. So I just like to keep that in mind. And let's go on to the next piece of armor. Alright, so now we're going to go over the chest plate. So on the chest plate, I like to have Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, and Mending. Nothing too crazy there. It's the exact same thing with the pants. So, yeah, now the boots. So what I like to have on the boots is Feather Falling 4, Depth Strider 3, Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, and Mending. So I rather prefer to have Depth Strider on my boots than Frostwalker. At least on my main boots I will have a backup pair that will have Frostwalker on them. But I just prefer to have Depth Strider on my normal boots because, for a couple reasons. The main one is mainly because it breaks a lot of water streams and redstone contraptions. So I like to keep that in mind. Because if you walk near water, you will turn to ice, and that just breaks water streams. And I don't really fancy that. Alright, so what I like to have on the sword is Sharpness 5, Unbreaking 3, Looting 3, and Mending. Now you will notice that I don't have any of the Smite or Bane of Arthropods on here. That is mainly because, first off, Bane of Arthropods is a pretty rubbish enchantment, at least if I say so myself. But also we have Smite on the axe because it's just super useful for taking down the Wither. And with Sharpness, it increases damage against all mobs, not just undead and arthropods, so that's really useful. So now let's talk about the axe. So what I like to have on the axe is Unbreaking 3, Silk Touch, Smite 5, Efficiency 5, and Mending. I don't really see like what Fortune really does with an axe. I just don't, so I just like to have Silk Touch for when you're mining the mushroom blocks. Oh yeah. Alright, now the pickaxes. Alright, for the pickaxes, we have two of them actually. The first one is Fortune 3, Unbreaking 3, Mending, and Efficiency 5. And the other one is Silk Touch, Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 5, and Mending. Now, for the Fortune pickaxe, it's obviously for when you're mining for like a certain type of ore and you want to get the max amount of it as possible. Fortune 3 is the correct decision for you. And for the Silk Touch is basically just for like if you want smooth stone or something like that. That's what you use. Alright, now let's move on to the shovel. Alright, so for the shovel I like to have Silk Touch, Unbreaking 3, Mending, and Efficiency 5. I prefer to have Silk Touch rather than Fortune, mainly because if you're mining gravel, especially now that they've introduced concrete into the game, which involves gravel, just having all that flint from using the Fortune is just so annoying because flint has absolutely no use, which is kind of rubbish. Alright, now let's look over the Trident. So what I like to have for the Trident is Impaling 5, Unbreaking 3, Riptide 3, and Mending. Now I don't really use the Trident that much, but when it's raining and you do have the Elytra, which we also have here, it's just super useful instead of using rockets when it's raining, or if you're underwater, it's just super useful. Alright, so now the shield, Elytra, shears, and flint and steel, they're all the same thing, just have Unbreaking 3 and Mending. You know, nothing too fancy there. Now let's take a look at the bow. Alright, so for the bow, I like to have Unbreaking 3, Flame 1, Infinity, Punch 2, and Power 5. Now you're probably wondering, where's Mending? Mending's been on all the other pieces of gear and weapons, so why not on the bow? Well, for two reasons. One, you can't have Infinity and Mending on the same bow, so that's kind of a bummer. And also, I would much rather only have to carry around one arrow and have to like repair my bow every once in a while because they're super cheap to replace, than have to carry like stacks and stacks of arrows. So yeah, it's basically like creative mode. Just have one arrow, knock them down. Alright, so for the crossbow, I like to have Unbreaking 3, Mending, Multi-Shot, and Quick Charge. I don't really have piercing on it because it's just so rare to have like 4 or 5 mobs like just in a straight line. It's trying to get away from me.
That is not correct. Because according to the encyclopedia of...
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much every single piece of equipment that I can think of. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this. You know, there's something I really feel like I'm forgetting. It's just not getting through my head. Like, how could I possibly forget about this? Oh, wait. How could I have possibly forgotten about this? I'm so stupid for this. The diamond hoe. Like, come on, like, it tills the soil. Sometimes you can jump on it, it'll turn back to dirt. You can place seeds on it. Now, what are the enchantments I like to have on this? Don't make a diamond hoe. Just don't. And just like that, we are going to end the video right here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned something. Hopefully not to make a diamond hoe. It's just a complete waste. Just don't do it. Just a complete waste of your diamonds. But other than that, hope that you guys learned something. Hope you guys should check out my main survival series. We do a lot of cool stuff there. We're gonna talk about enchanting, hopefully next week. And also, I am hosting a 1.16 update podcast starting next week as well. We're going to talk about what the 1.16 other update has to offer. So check that out too. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.